Captain Traoré's Revolution: How Burkina Faso's Young Leader is Redefining Power, Sovereignty, and Africa's Future. Ouagadougou, June 2025. In the heart of West Africa, a bold and controversial experiment is unfolding under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the 36-year-old interim president of Burkina Faso. Since seizing power in a military coup in September 2022, Traoré has quickly become one of the most talked-about leaders on the continent. Hailed as a revolutionary by supporters and criticized as authoritarian by detractors, Traoré is redefining what it means to govern in the post-colonial African context. A charismatic soldier with a revolutionary message. Traoré, a career artillery officer with a modest background, rose to power as part of a wave of military-led takeovers sweeping through the Sahel region. In Burkina Faso, plagued by a worsening jihadist insurgency and widespread dissatisfaction with elected governments, his coup was welcomed by many as a necessary reset. Since then, he has cast himself in the mold of the legendary Thomas Sankara, the Marxist revolutionary who led Burkina Faso from 1983 until his assassination in 1987. Traoré frequently invokes Sankara's legacy, echoing his rhetoric of sovereignty, anti-imperialism, and self-reliance. "We must stand up as free Africans," Traoré declared at a national forum in March 2025. Burkina Faso will no longer bow to foreign dictates. "We are building a new future, on our terms." Ending the French era. One of Traoré's most decisive moves was expelling French military forces from Burkina Faso in early 2023, part of a broader effort to break from France's historic influence over its former colonies. French language usage in government has been scaled back, French media outlets have been banned, and new partnerships have been forged with Russia, Turkey, and Iran. In place of French troops, Russian private military contractors have quietly entered the picture. Though not officially acknowledged, sources close to the Defense Ministry confirm Russian advisors are active in intelligence and security operations. This pivot has alarmed Western governments and international observers. Yet domestically, it has fueled nationalist pride. Recent public rallies in Ouagadougou saw thousands waving not only Burkinabe flags but also those of Russia, Mali, and Niger, countries seen as allies in the fight for African liberation. Pan-Africanism in practice. The Sahel Alliance. In September 2023, Burkina Faso formalized a military alliance with Mali and Niger, dubbed the Alliance of Sahel States, (EAS). This pact has evolved into more than a security arrangement. It is becoming a political and economic bloc. All three countries have withdrawn from ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States, accusing it of being controlled by foreign interests. Together, they have launched regional trade initiatives, border cooperation, and energy-sharing projects. Analysts call it the most significant geopolitical realignment in West Africa since independence. The AES could become a counterweight to both ECOWAS and Western influence, said Dr. Fatimata Sanogo, a political science professor at the University of Dakar. But it also raises concerns about regional instability and democratic backsliding. A new economic vision, but will it work? Traoré's government has launched a national self-reliance program that includes subsidized farming inputs and land redistribution to boost food production, state-funded mining cooperatives to increase control over gold exports, bans on foreign NGOs accused of neo-colonial interference. In April 2025, he inaugurated a new agricultural hub in Koudougou, powered by solar energy and staffed by conscripted youth. "This is the revolution of dignity," he said at the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Burkina Faso will feed itself, educate itself, and defend itself. GDP has shown modest growth, and inflation has stabilized. However, the IMF and World Bank warn of unsustainable public spending and lack of transparency in resource management. Freedom or fear? The shadow of authoritarianism. Critics argue that Traoré's populism is masking creeping authoritarianism. Several journalists and civil society activists have been arrested or have fled the country. Independent media have been shut down, and internet access is frequently restricted during protests. The government denies targeting dissent, blaming foreign agents and misinformation campaigns. Still, Watchdogs like Amnesty International and Reporters Without Borders have raised red flags. There is a dangerous concentration of power, said Ibrahim Traoré, a former member of the Burkinabe Transitional Parliament now in exile. Traoré is popular, but popularity is not a substitute for democracy. In September 2024, the military announced that elections would be postponed indefinitely due to the security situation, raising fears that the junta intends to stay in power long-term. The people speak and follow. Yet on the streets, Traoré still enjoys widespread support, especially among youth. His messages of sovereignty, pride, and defiance resonate deeply in a country long marginalized by both domestic elites and foreign powers. Social media is flooded with posts, memes, and even songs praising Captain Ibrahim. A mural in Bobo Dioulasso shows him standing beside Thomas Sankara and Nelson Mandela. One video clip, now viral, shows a young girl saying, "He's not just our president. He's our hope." Conclusion: between glory and uncertainty. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's Burkina Faso is a nation caught between the past and an uncertain future. His radical departure from the status quo has sparked both admiration and alarm across Africa and beyond. While many cheer his bold steps to reclaim national pride and sovereignty, others worry he is concentrating too much power and gambling with democracy. Whether Traoré becomes a transformational leader or another strongman will depend on whether he can deliver lasting peace, inclusive governance, and economic opportunity without silencing the very voices he claims to uplift. For now, the revolution continues.